Testing 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
I'll say it again so that it can be recorded. Good morning, Qualicum Beach.
Good morning.
Thank you. This is a new day for Qualicum Beach. This is the first time, this is the inaugural open house in this format. In the past, as you know, we used to meet once a month. Sometimes we had it for a while for twice a month in the committee room with coffee and around the table and with 2 members of council. And sometimes we weren't aware what those members of council were being asked and what the answers were. And I thought it would be good for all of council and the staff that's necessary to respond to the questions that came out of those open houses. Because councillors used to come up to the administration area asking the question that they were asked to try and get an answer. So we thought this would be more efficient, more transparent, and everybody would know what's being asked and get the answers at the same time. So in order to do this, we thought we'd have a speakers list, and it's at the door on the table. If you'd like to address the council, you can put your name on that list, and we'll follow that list. And so we do have a bit of a formality here, and that is the agenda, which is a town hall open house. So I need to ask council, are there any other changes to the agenda? Then that agenda is adopted by consent, and we have the town public engagement opportunity, which I just explained. So who would like to go first? Who's on top of the list? Can you give that list to Daniela, please? Yeah, I did earlier, but thank you. And I think we should always be respectful of the fact that we are on the traditional territory of Coast Salish people. Thank you, Councillor Van der Valk. We had a meeting earlier about the website, so I thought I already said that, but it doesn't hurt to repeat it, that we all, in addition to our Cochetish people, we take our friends to the west, the Qualicum First Nation. Thank you. Mr. Wood. Now, we start off with 3 minutes, but you can speak again if you need to say more. So go ahead.
Thank you, Your Worship and councillors. This is indeed a historic, in some senses, day for the town to switch from open houses to town hall meetings. And you were good enough to provide this process for town hall meetings to the residents as we came in. One of the questions that I'll get to in a second. One of the things I liked about the open house meetings was the ability to dialogue with the 2 or sometimes only 1 councillor that was there, and including yourself sometimes. And I felt that because it was a two-way discussion, that we got better understanding on both parties' sides of what the matter is. But under the speaker's process that's listed on this green sheet, it says council and staff will not engage in debate with members of the public. So I guess I can't even ask the question. Does that mean that I can't ask a question and expect an answer from someone behind the council table?
That's the whole idea, Mr. Wood. You can ask questions, but everybody's going to hear that question. Everybody's going to hear the answer. And if council doesn't have the answer, then we'll ask staff to provide the answer.
Okay. Okay. That was my primary concern.
Go ahead.
I'll be back for more later.
Okay. Okay. And next on the list is Jan Taggart.
Good morning, Mayor. Good morning, councillors. I'm here, as I usually am when I make an appearance, to represent the Qualicum Beach Multi-Use Cinema Society and its members, which we are growing weekly with membership, and we're reaching almost 200 people now. So, and our once a month Sunday viewings, we've had to add a new screening because we are selling out within 48 hours. So that's just the background here. I was really happy to see the quality of life survey sent out, and it was easy to take care of online. But one of the things or amenities that was missing from that survey was a movie theater. It has been, this letter we received to the Society from Luke Sales in 2018 has stated, a movie theater is an exciting concept that has been endorsed by the official community plan for many years. By way of this letter, the town is extending support for your group's community theater cinema proposal. So as you know, we've been working on this for a very long time. So we know that it was in the quality of life survey before it was listed. It's in the official community plan. It's been part of the strategic planning. So my question is, after listing so many possibilities for entertainment, I'm actually surprised boxing wasn't listed as a choice. Why was there no listing of an opportunity for people to express their support for a community theater? Who made that decision? And that's my question for my membership, because they're asking. Thank you.
Once you take a seat, I'll ask Councillor Van der Valk, who's been our liaison to that committee, whether there's any response to that question, and then I'll ask our Director of Planning.
I don't think it was discussed in the OCP Review Steering Committee. Probably best to ask Mr. Sales. Thank you.
Mr. Sales.
Thank you, Mayor Westbrook. Through the chair, I think every effort was made to include the full breadth of recreational opportunities, and I understand the rationale for including the movie theater. I can't necessarily explain why no one thought of it at the time, but that was the case. It could be perceived as an oversight.
So when people respond to the quality of life survey, can they write that in? If it's high on their own agenda, can they still provide comments regarding the theater?
Thank you. There are numerous places in the survey where open comments are allowed. So yes, it could be written in another part of the survey. I don't have the exact recreation survey question in front of me, so I don't know whether that one included an other, but there are places in the survey where you could write it in. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Carol Dow. Carol.
Is it on? Yes. Thank you. I'm here on behalf of my husband, Dr. Fred and Dow, and myself, because we started the Caregivers some 5 years ago, maybe a little more, and we have this flyer that we put around town in the doctor's offices and pharmacists and physical therapy that gives the announcement, and I'll just read it briefly, saying, Oceanside Caregivers, caring for loved ones. We bring understanding, hope, caring, support, and resources for the caregiver. And we meet every last Thursday of the month at the Gardens at 1 o'clock. And these are such heartwarming times for the caregivers to be able to get a break and come and get things off their chest. And I must say that there are times when they are at close burnout, and really we encourage them to get help with counselors, because we are not registered counselors. We're providing resources. I'm also speaking on behalf of the caregivers for the entire town, and please don't stop me on this, but the planes flying over our neighborhood are so hard for the caregivers and the seniors and elders in our neighborhood, let alone, I'm sure, other areas. So I would just ask you somehow to keep that in mind for the future in decisions that you're making. And I thank you for that. Let's see, I still have a minute. Okay, so I am wearing 3 hats, caregivers, Tosh, and chickens. So the other very important topic, I might run out of time, so I'll say what I can. This March 14th, Tosh, the old schoolhouse, archives called on myself as the founding secretary, and my late husband, Bob Nickel, was the fundraising chair. And I said, we should get a hold of Larry Aguilar, Francois Mongeau, Pauline Pike, some of the original artists and volunteers that gave so much of their time. We are so proud of Tosh to keep it going, Mayor and Council. And I particularly want to get a hold of Marlis Diamond. She was the first executive director and did an incredible job of pulling it all together, so that she can be videoed for the archives would be important. Oh, 4 seconds. Okay, so I have a topic at the Tosh that maybe I can bring up on the next round. Thank you.
And the comment regarding the airplane noise, you can bring it up at the meeting. I think it's on June 25th.
Yes, we'll be away then. My husband and I travel back east for about 3 months at our family farm. Would I be able to write a letter?
Sure.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do I?
And I think that's all that was on the speakers list. So I know Mr. Wood said he wanted to come back, so come on in.
If nobody else will get up and ask questions, you can be rest assured that I have a couple of questions. One of the things that was mentioned in the previous meeting, the reveal party for the website, which I think is quantum leap better than what the previous one. There was a bit of a talk about the public inquiry system. I was wondering if there is any statistical report on how many are being received by month or by subject or by department that they're aimed at, or that sort of thing. Because if people are asking questions and not getting answers, or if there are things that they should be asking questions about and not using the public inquiry form, it would be nice to know.
Thank you. Ms. Swenson.
Through the chair to Mr. Wood. Yes, we have a dashboard for the public inquiry system that's monitored through our IT department. And so each week we're sent, the entire organization is sent an update on the dashboard showing if you have inquiries outstanding. And we're working weekly to improve those statistics. So I can positively report that this week was our best week, where we had very little overdue public inquiries. And using the information from the survey that is also on there through the IT department, they're improving the statistics on that as well. But yes, it's a very detailed dashboard, broken down right to department.
Okay, and is that available for public consumption or only internal?
Yeah, quarterly reporting will give those statistics.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone who hasn't spoken yet would like to say something or ask something? Come back, Janet.
I appreciate the answer that Luke gave as a major oversight, but I just wanted to remind council and town that so many members of the community participated in many forums about what we want to see in this community going forward at various locations in good faith. And to have this left off the official quality of life survey, I don't want to say it's insulting, but it really makes me question the validity of those other forums and the work that we put into that. And I'm concerned about this, and so are many other people. So I just want that noted down, that we're disappointed with the town right now for this official quality of life survey.
Councillor Young.
As your liaison to the cinema group, I haven't been to or been invited to any of your meetings lately in months, but I do believe that our council is aware of the utmost priority of having a cinema in our community, and it has always been about finding the appropriate land space for the cinema, but it's always, as far as I believe, is on the top of our minds as to something that is going to be in the near future of a new build.
Well, thank you, Jean. I appreciate that, because looking at this survey, we really felt we were being ignored. To let you know, our AGM is happening on March the 30th at Rotary House at 7 o'clock in the evening. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And your comments are duly noted. Who would like to speak from the gallery without having a name on the list? You can come forward. Tim, come on up.
Good morning. Maybe just to start out, are you going to ask people to state their name at the beginning or as part of this, or?
I think it would be a courtesy to say your name.
Yeah, so, yeah, Tim Pritchards. I'd just like to ask, would it be possible to get an update on the status of the public square and the underground parking in particular that's been proposed? Thank you.
It's interesting you ask. When we saw the review of the website, I asked, can we put the latest information about that on our website? So perhaps Ms. Swenson, I don't know if we can pull it up on our website to show what is actually on there regarding that question. Just see how that actually works, if we can do that.
Can staff do that, or do you want a few minutes to? Through the chair to Mr. Sales, do you want to walk the IT department through that on the website?
Well, given that the website launched today, I'm not exactly sure directly how to get there. But maybe I could just answer the question directly for the benefit of council and the public. So there is money allocated in this year's financial plan for investments in the bus garage area and the adjacent area. There's a few kind of decision points that they're waiting for, before we actually proceed with detailed design and construction. So one is related to Naked Naturals, what happens on that property does influence the timing of construction, so that's one factor. The second that council identified was the Qualicum Commons, so we are looking for some clarity on what's happening there. And then once that clarity is in place, then the town does have resources to start to move forward with the planning and construction in that area. Thank you. And sorry, if I could, I would also like to highlight in relation to the previous speaker, and we were scrambling trying to find the date, but identifying land for the multi-use cinema is already in council's 5-year financial plan, and so I hope that gives some satisfaction to proponents of this initiative that it's not that it was forgotten in any way. Council has in fact allocated resources in 2026 to find land for that project. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Sales. And Ms. Varela also gave me the sheet that has the date of 2026 to identify a land to multi-purpose performing arts cinema at $30,000, so it hasn't been forgotten. I'm not sure if we're looking at the bus garage on our website, but I think there it is. So, Ms. Swansea, would you like to speak to that?
Sure. So this, one way to do a search on the website is just launch the first home page, and then you can just type in bus garage or any trigger word, and it will bring you up either both the documents or the development tracker, which also is a document that the planning department will constantly update on current developments in the community. So when you type it in, just seeing if Jason's got that going.
It's working.
Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, the dots are going there. So again, any updates from the planning department on any of the current projects will be on the website. In addition, on the home page under news and highlights, it will also give current activity on developments and projects that the town are currently working on. So again, the simplest way for us to explain is really just type a buzzword in that you're looking for on the home page, and it will bring you either multiple documents or current project information.
Thank you, Ms. Svensson. Anyone else from the gallery? Yes, ma'am, come on up. And just pull the microphone down a bit.
It's Heather Cooper, and I'm ashamed to say I haven't
Yeah, it is now. They have controls over there like you wouldn't believe. It's very good.
Heather Cooper, and I'm a citizen here, and I'm ashamed to say I haven't come to a lot of council meetings, but I've been to some, and I like this format. It's not so intimidating. And also, I just came up just to say thank you, because I know every member here works really, really hard. And I hear your names, I see your names on the website, in the paper, and I watched all the work that's been done on the waterfront and along that walkway, along, well, it's Highway 19A, where it's safer now to walk and to park. I see the changes along West Crescent, where that work has been done near the, well, it was I guess it's the mains, the water mains. There's just so many improvements in this town since we've moved here, and they're all delightful. And the life survey was so comprehensive, except for that one. So just thank you to all the staff here. You're such hard workers, and God bless all of you.
Thank you, Ms. Cooper. Yeah, that's, I agree with you. These folks, they work hard to try and answer all the questions, try and get things done. And there's so many things. We talk about priorities for a theater. We have a priority that the senior center would like a new facility. We have this priorities for our safety, like streets that have to be fixed before they slope down or slide down. Safety issues. There's so many concerns about police and fire protection, parks and recreation. Staff is, in my opinion, doing a super job. I get to meet other mayors from different communities, and I don't think Qualicum Beach is second to none. But that's my personal opinion, and I might be a little biased. Anyone else would like to say? Anyone else from the gallery would like to say anything? Come on up, John. I say you had 3 more questions.
Let's just classify it as at least 3. Sorry. Going back to the website, which it's interesting, you type in bus garage, you get the bus garage description. What happens if you type in public square? Do you also get the bus garage project?
Good question. Would that work, Mr. Sales? All right.
So the bus garage, or the website is still in progress, so it may or may not be that those types of keywords have been linked to those specific projects, but there's a month-long review process that we're in right now, so if there's opportunities to improve it, to make things more accessible by attaching those keywords, that month-long period is our key opportunity.
Ms. Varela.
Thank you, Your Worship. It's probably also worth noting that Qualicum Beach has multiple public squares, so that may be a consideration in how the website finally shakes out, but just a note.
Yeah, and it's a fair comment because a lot of people still remember when it was the bus garage site. But as new people come in, they would have no idea of bus garage site. What are you talking about? So it's a fair comment that we need to probably slash public square, that people know, and connect the dots. Thank you.
And a corollary question on the new website. How much of the new website development included people from outside the consultant and town staff?
Thank you. So committee members and public members were interviewed and questions were asked. I don't have the details of the number of people, but there was outside consultation.
Excellent. Because anytime you develop a new website or a new program, you need test drivers who are not involved in the process to poke and prod it and make sure that it works fine. Okay. Oh. I thought I had to sit down between each one of them.
You didn't come up at 3 minutes, so keep.
Okay. The next topic I want to talk about is the tree clearing or tree foliage management along particularly 19A, the section that goes from the Village Way intersection down to about Hemsworth. That's very, very overgrown on the south side, which is where the utilities lines are, not the power lines. The power lines are on the north side. But one of the things that's critical in terms, in a state of crisis management is communication. And if those trees start coming down on those communications lines, where's our communication going to be? In the last big windstorm, there was a tree that was actually blown down, I believe, from the north side across the road. It almost, well, the branches did hit the front of a vehicle, and the vehicle occupants were warned not to get out of the vehicle until BC Hydro could show up because it was potentially very dangerous. So, you know, that's a corridor that's, as we know, is heavily treed, but it still needs some management on both sides, the power side and the communication side.
I think your 3 minutes just up. But Ms. Varela, can you comment on that?
What I would say, Your Worship, is I'd really encourage members of the public with those kinds of concerns to make sure those go into the public inquiry system, because then they're logged, they're assigned to a staff person, and you will receive a response or action will be taken. So if we can just stay with that public inquiry system, we'll be able to see the status of those. It's really beneficial for both staff, council, and the public if we can all start using that system. So thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And if I can then follow up on the public inquiry system, there have been some changes made along the way. I submitted a very detailed, almost, it wasn't the fourth, I think you're allowed 4,000 characters, and I think it was halfway through. And it was nicely formatted, and when it showed up on the public inquiry form, it was a big block of text. And I got hold of the manager of IT and said, is there something that can be done that makes it look a little bit like what I spent a lot of time making it look good and readable? And he said, yes, there is. And I've noticed on subsequent ones that automatic reformatting is shown as a detail when the recipient gets the public inquiry, and also what the original text looks like. So I think that was a very positive step.
Thank you, John. Let me just ask, is there somebody else who hasn't spoken would like to speak?
I was going to speak a second time.
Okay.
Go ahead.
John, finish your turn, and then we'll go to Carol.
Okay. I've got Two last questions. Is it possible to know at this point how many responses have been received to date on the quality of life survey?
Thank you. Through the chair, the last response, or the last update we had from the consultant was that there's been around 1,000.
Okay. And it's still, it's open till the 17th of March still?
That's correct.
Okay, so about 1,000. And one last question, well, maybe not last, but one more question. No, I've exhausted my list for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Carol, you can come back up if you like.
Thank you. I especially want to thank Jean Young for helping me about the TOSH questions that I had. And the suggestion was to bring some of these questions to this meeting. So I did write the director, Alana, and she responded. And I'd just like to go as quickly as I can here about them. The first being the importance of having the lift chair to go up the stairs. I can't walk up those stairs, and I can tell you the artists that were being interviewed would not have been able to as well. So they held it on the main floor. Her response to this, we acknowledge the importance of accessibility and have advocated to the town to improve the building. It is not within our current capacity to do so. May I ask if there is some way to help with that lift chair?
I don't know about the lift chair. They also have a ramp that I think we spend a lot of time. But Mr. Sales or Ms. Varela or Ms. Swenson, do we know? Because there was a request for some improvements that we talked about. Is the status there?
May I just comment that the ramp is very difficult, and especially raining and things like that. It isn't a matter of having to have a wheelchair and so on, but just being able to walk in level and sit in a chair and go up would be very, very helpful to many older people and disabled.
Swenson.
Through the chair to Ms. Dow, we have not received any requests from the old schoolhouse for improvements. The two requests that we're working on is improvements to the washroom downstairs for accessibility, which we are getting quotes actively now to partner with them, and renovations to the rear of the building doors to have garage door style opening, but no request has been received for.
Okay. And then the next was I asked about, there used to be the wonderful Sunday classical music presentations. And she said these were indeed special, and while they are no longer part of our offerings, we do hope to bring back individual concerts. These Sunday performances were funded on a large endowment, so that sounds like that could be a possibility. She says the music program takes a significant amount of money and resources to program. So that's the reply. And I also asked, the other big item was the Art in Action. Do you remember that? How I recall it was the day that at the beginning, Jack Collins was challenged. He was going to eat his hat if they were able to get the schoolhouse built in 90 days, and they did. And he chomped on the straw hat that day. And during that, it happened to be, I think, the Art in Action. They had sheep out in the field. They were showing how they shear them and they card the wool and then go into spinning, and the artists were all over town, different aspects of the town being painted. It was a really joyful time, and her response to that, this event has not been running for 6 years since 2019 due to COVID. It was not brought back due to the significant resources it requires.
Okay, Carol, may I suggest that things regarding the old schoolhouse, and we've had other inquiries as well about how it's being run and so on. We don't interfere with the organization, how they run the facility. We don't interfere with the lawn bowling club, the curling club. They do what they do, and they have a board that's selected by the members. The best thing for anyone who has a concern about what's happening at the old schoolhouse is to join as a member. Then you have access to all the financials. You can speak at their meetings, at their AGM. You can have your name stand on to be on the board or vote for somebody that you think should be on the board. But there's very little that we can do as long as they keep their conditions of their lease in place, we don't interfere with them. So
Okay.
all those comments you made would be good if you made them at their AGM.
Yes,
Just a suggestion. Thank you.
yes, and I thank you for that. I just felt for us to all be aware of it. Okay.
Thank you.
Do you want me to, can I talk briefly about chickens?
Come back another time. Let's
Okay.
see who else wants to speak.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anybody else who wishes to speak? Yes, Pat.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. I'd just like to better understand liability insurance on town-owned properties. Case in point is Squalicum Beach Streamkeepers are planning a 30th anniversary celebration in early July at Sotlam Park. And we're getting quotes of hundreds of dollars for this, to cover this event, and that just, it's excessive in light of what the event will be. So why wouldn't events on, that is town-owned property, just be covered?
I know Ms. Svensson has a direct line to the people that run MIA, and as far as risk analysis is concerned, so. Ms. Svensson.
Sorry, through the chair. So liability insurance is a requirement on any town property for an event, just for the sake that the town, could be sued potentially. So the town has to be named as an additional insurer under whoever's taking out, so even the Civic Center. So through MIABC, who's our insurance provider, for our facilities like the Civic Center and the Community Hall, they actually have a policy that is very economical to get insurance through. For outside facilities, with the risk being increased, with us not being on site and not being able to manage the event, because the event is being run by an outside organization, you are required to get your own insurance and naming the town as an additional insurer. Because it's under the operation and management of the organization, not under the management and operation of the staff. So
Could
I
we
know
have
there
a
is,
staff member attend?
I did receive an email for the event that you're speaking of from one of your members that I haven't had an opportunity to answer yet. It came through yesterday.
Okay.
There is an insurance company I was going to suggest, which is called All Sport, which makes it sound like it's sporting, but it's not. It is for special events, and in past years, it has been much more economical than just your typical insurance company. So I was going to respond with that email to suggest trying All Sport and seeing if it is just kind of like shopping for a car. You can shop around for insurance, and the prices are different through different insurance brokers.
Oh, okay. I'll follow up on that then.
Okay.
Thank you. And just one other quick question. Regarding this format, replacing open houses, in general, what about people that are working? When do they get an opportunity to participate in a session like this? Thank you.
Okay, well, the open houses since 1997 were always at 10 o'clock on Wednesday morning. We tried, when Councillor Brulette was on council, to do an evening one for the reason you just mentioned. So the first time we had it, we had a couple of shopkeepers come who had asked for that meeting to be in the evening. And so I thought, well, maybe they don't know we're here. So I actually sat on the chair by the doors so that people know they could come in. And the second time, there was one person. And the third time, and the fourth time, and the fifth time, no one came. And we said, well, it's not worth it. Councillor Young tried to have open houses twice a month. And it didn't, it's the same people. So we try, but, and I mentioned it earlier before, if people want to talk with a member of council, including me, they can phone, we can have a coffee set up, we can talk about anything you like. We're not hiding. Our email address is on our town website. So you can call us, email us, and we'll be happy to talk with anybody if they need to. But one time we also set up a public hearing, and for the same reason, we thought we'd have to go into the evening. And the same people who would have been there in the evening would have been there in the morning too. But because we said it's going to be from, I think, 4 to 8, something like that, we had every half hour a recess because nobody was there except the people that came to speak. So we tried. But we are always available with a phone call, and I've made myself available almost any time, not every time, but any time that is reasonable. If you want to talk with me, either on the phone or over a coffee. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else would like to speak? Carol, you look like you're anxious to go for another turn. Go for it.
Thank you. So in conclusion, because I think everybody's tired of hearing from me, I just want to confirm with you, before I talk about my favorite topic, chickens, that the airport meeting, I think you said that it would be June, but what if there are problems in between? How do we communicate that?
Public inquiry.
So you want us to put it on the public inquiry, especially if there's a lot of extra noise and so on, and we can hope to hear back from you then?
Yes.
Okay. So, about chickens, we all know that egg prices have gone up, and we are very fortunate. I just bought eggs at Qualicum Foods for $4.95, but did you see on the TV in the States, it's like $8.50 average. So my question is, because I love my Rhode Island red chickens that I have at the farm back east, are we able to raise chickens here? There used to be, wasn't there a pilot program of some sort, and where did that go?
Well, it didn't go anywhere. We kept, people are allowed to have chickens. There are rules about that. Mr. Sales?
Thank you. Through the chair. So the pilot program that was introduced allowed property owners of multiple sizes, like including small lots, to have chickens. And then council amended the rules to say that lots of over a certain size could have chickens. The issue was that most of the property owners that were approved were small lots, and suddenly their chickens were illegal. There was a strong feedback saying, what do we do with our chickens? This is unfair. And at that time, council put enforcement on hold. So the way it stands right now is our bylaw officer is not enforcing the regulations about minimum lot size with regard to chickens. On larger lots, chickens are permitted.
So I'm on a fairly small lot in Qualicum Woods, and I would be able to have a couple chickens?
I'd have to look at the
To see
specifics
the
of your lot.
size, is that the important part?
Most residential lots are not large enough to meet the minimum lot size.
So it has to be more like about a half acre or something, is that
If you contact me directly through
Yeah.
the chair,
Yeah.
if anyone wants to contact the planning department directly to inquire about their specific lot, we can provide the information. Thank you.
So just to recap, it sounds like you can have chickens if they're the right lot size.
That's right.
Okay.
And if you're not sure, then like Mr. Sales said, they have a way to look at the dimension of your property, whether you can have them. So just do it offline after the meeting.
That is great news. Bok, 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 bok.
Now, here's a good reason why we have the meeting with staff is available, and all of council can hear the answer, and because all of council would have had trouble answering these questions in the way it used to be with the coffee format. We'd have to run upstairs and try and get information. Mr. Sales is busy. He's not waiting for us to come up with a question about chickens or anything else. So I think this proves to me that it's probably more efficient and more interesting for everybody else to hear what these questions are and what the answers are. Anyone else? Mr. Wood.
You can call me John. Mr. Wood was my father. You mentioned that this is much better than the coffee format. Speaking of coffee...
Well, that's my opinion.
Yeah, well, and I agree. Speaking of coffee, Bailey's is closing after tomorrow. So I encourage everybody, if you haven't gone over there and had a coffee in a while, to go and thank the people who ran it and look forward to the new people who should be open either late March or April 1st. And if they open April 1st, it's not an April Fool's joke.
No. We will miss them, John.
Yeah, we will too. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Van der Valk.
I just wanted to mention that Councillor Skipsey, Councillor Young, and I, before this meeting, went to Bailey's to support them and to say thank you for everything that they've done for the community.
Big supporters for Cops for Cancer, Every year they came, they would go there for lunch. So it was a wonderful place. And I'm confident that the new owners will carry on with the tradition of providing a wonderful place for the town square. People come here, I can see them from my window, of all ages. They look at the fountain, kids run around the fountain, throw stuff in the fountain. And so, and having lunch and coffee at Bailey's is kind of like a thing to do in Qualicum Beach. So we will definitely miss them. Anyone else? Then Councilor Young.
Just a question from one of our locals. It was asked, since this is live streamed, could they also have like a Zoom site where they can ask the question from home, if that's a possibility, because we're so techie now?
Ms. Varela.
Thank you, Your Worship. That has been something we've been discussing with IT. There are staff capacity issues and things like that, but again, it is on staff's radar as we continue to seek to improve our ways to engage. So we can report back out to council later if this is something that's achievable and we can achieve within existing capacity.
Great, thank you. So with that, a motion to adjourn would be in order. Councilor Young, Councilor Skipsey, all in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a beautiful day.